marijuana should stay illegal say that it is a stepping stone for other drugs, and that's false because marijuana doesn't cause you to have an addictive personality, unlike tobacco. Second point is it will increase the amount of car accidents. This is also false because if marijuana was legalized, there would be regulations put in just like how there is for alcohol. You wouldn't be able to drive under the influence. Second point is it will increase secondhand smoking. This is false because that is your personal choice to choose to be around it or not, just like it is with cigarettes today. The fourth point is legalization of marijuana will later lead to the legalization of other hard drugs. Now this is false because the government would never legalize drugs such as heroin or cocaine because those lead to an alarming rate of deaths per year, and it's just really not good for your health. 10 reasons why legalizing marijuana is a good idea. The government would be able to tax marijuana and make a lot of revenue. Less money would be spent enforcing marijuana laws. It's already a socially acceptable drug. There's medical benefits. It's not as harmful as alcohol and cigarettes. It would help decrease underage use of marijuana. It would free up space in jails and prisons for more serious crimes. It would help weaken the drug cartels. It would cut the murder rate related to drugs, and it would help create more jobs. So taxing marijuana. According to a 2010 study from Cato, legalizing marijuana would generate $8.7 billion in federal and state tax annually, and this would help lower our national debt rate per year. Now, this $7.8 billion, just to give you like a little bit of a retrospect, could be used for tuition for 145,000 students to attend NYU for completely free, and that is, NYU is currently the most expensive school in the United States. Less money spent enforcing marijuana laws. American taxpayers spend about $42 billion a year on helping enforce marijuana laws. This money spent could be put to better use for more important things, such as helping lower the cost of college or putting it forth for cancer research. It's already a socially acceptable drug. About 2.5 million college students smoke weed on a daily basis, and 3.3% of college students admitted to using marijuana for the first time within the last year. Once marijuana was legalized for medical uses, people saw it as less of a threat. How bad can it be if it helps cancer patients? And you see marijuana use at parties on Fridays and Saturday nights, as well as at festivals, concerts, and parks. And it's even considered socially acceptable for adults. There is a 7.5% of adults between ages 50 and 59, and 2.1% of people 60 and up used marijuana in 2011. There's medical benefits. Marijuana for medical purposes has been used for over 4,000 years. 4,000 years ago, it was used to treat disorders such as insomnia, headaches, and childbirth. Now marijuana is used to treat things such as AIDS, glaucoma, cancer, multiple sclerosis, epilepsy, chronic pain, anxiety, and depression. It's not as harmful as other drugs. Marijuana doesn't fall under the top 10 most harmful drugs. On this list, however, both alcohol and tobacco were present, as well as cocaine, which is growing in popularity. Heroin caused more deaths than AIDS and cancer did combined in 2010, bringing it well over 100,000 people. Cocaine kills about 10,000 people each year, and that's increasing at a 20% rate. Alcohol leads to over 75,000 deaths each year, and tobacco kills a shocking 6 million people each year. And so far, 0 people have died from marijuana use alone. It will help the underage use of marijuana. Without regulation of this drug, anyone at any age can purchase marijuana. So like a 10-year-old could go on a drug deal for their parents, or they could go on a drug deal for themselves to get marijuana and smoke it. Regulating this drug would mean creating a legal age for smoking marijuana, just like there is the 18 or older for the purchase of tobacco, and then the 21 and older for alcohol. It will free up space in jails. In 2010, almost 2 million people were arrested for drug-based offenses, and almost half of those people were incarcerated on marijuana charges. 89% of those arrests were just simply for possession. There are approximately 760,000 freed sex offenders in Queens and 405,000 freed sex offenders in Manhattan alone. The reason these people walk free is due to overcrowding in jails and prisons. Wouldn't you feel more safe with sex offenders in jail as opposed to marijuana users? It will weaken the drug cartels. Mexico is home to the biggest drug cartels in the world. Tens of thousands of people die each year in drug-related cartel activities. And there is an estimated $10 billion worth of drugs smuggled into the U.S. each year from Mexico alone. More than half of that $10 billion is just in marijuana. By legalizing marijuana, that will decrease all of these problems. It will cut the murder rate down. Drug deals and drug-related fights combined add up to thousands of deaths each year. By legalizing marijuana, it would get rid of the gang-related violence that goes along with drug deals and ultimately bring down the murder rate significantly. And lastly, it will create more jobs. If marijuana is legalized, it would need to be regulated just as the tobacco and alcohol industries are today. By doing this, it creates many jobs such as farms, manufacturing plants or factories, distribution shops, and many more. So in conclusion, marijuana should be legalized because it will generate billions of dollars in revenue. It's already socially acceptable and not as harmful as other drugs. There would be a set age requirement. It would free up space in jails. It would weaken the major drug cartels, which in turn would lower the murder rate, and it will create many new jobs.
Do you think that by lowering the age, or legalizing it, excuse me, that obviously more people will sample it, therefore start to use it, which might lead them to other drugs that are obviously not as recreational?
Other people might sample it, but I don't think it will lead to the use of other drugs because marijuana doesn't cause you to have like the addictive personality kind of like tobacco does. It doesn't do that to you. It doesn't trigger that in your brain. So I think if people use it, it's just that you get high each time and that's it. It's not what your body's made to.
Anybody else? As you know, I never inhale. Very good, thank you.